approach.
So how do you uncover mindset when you're interviewing?
Well, again, it's a completely different
I mean,
approach. You
what are
have
is
to,
there
if you're hiring
is
for mindset, you've got to interview for mindset, right? You can't sit there and do the same interview process as you would with someone with a skill set. You've got to make sure that you can see their mindset. I think one of the best ways to do, is really on the job interviews of putting them in real situations where maybe it's a trial job or something like that, where you can really get a feel for what they're doing, right? Maybe it's a shadowing experience. Maybe it's, hey, we hire you under a trial period for 2 months. I've heard
Yep,
people do that.
absolutely. It's funny you say that. So we had 2 people interview yesterday for carpenter positions, and, they made it through I call it the initial smell test, right? But the part 2 is you're coming back for a day within the next week, and we're gonna pay you for the day. We're gonna pay you well for the day, but you're gonna b I'm gonna have you build a
Yeah.
custom counter. Right, we'll have the materials ready for you, but we're gonna have you do it. We're gonna see how you do it. We're gonna see how long it takes you to do it. We're gonna see if your product's gonna show us if you care about fit and finish. Are you gonna ask 100 questions? Do you already know what to do? So, but to your point, you got to put them into the deep end of the pool and find out if they can swim.
Yeah.
When we were hiring for accounting and finance positions, our CPA would give them a
Mhm.
test. And I know that Indeed, right, which a lot of people use, actually has tests that people can get scored. I'm amazed at how many people in the past have applied and never bothered to take those tests. And they're not, but it basically says, are they average? Are they above average? Are they exceptional? Or did they redefine
Well,
excellence?
at the same point, like, yeah, you're amazed at the amount of applicants that don't do the test. I think we should also be amazed at the amount of people that do interviews and don't really put much thought into it and don't customize it to the person and don't customize it to the role. It's the same exact process for each and every position, and they're
Yeah.
expecting great results. It's just that's not how it
Yeah.
works. Same thing for the applicant. You don't fill out the job test or certification or, put a good resume together. You shouldn't expect stellar results.
I think you mentioned a minute ago about, maybe there's like a trial
Yeah.
employment period I think it's more common than not in our industry. There is a 90-day introductory employment period. And some people don't call it that, right? You don't want to say, well, wait a minute. Are you telling me you can fire me in 90 days? So when we extend a written employment offer to somebody, it says your 90-day continuing employment meeting with
Right.
me. The date is literally listed on there, the date and the time. So, and what I always say when we send the employment package over is, look, I want us to be able to have an informed conversation about how it's going. And you just can't do that right now if you're not from the industry, or even if you're not from our company. I mean, I think we're just kind of a different business model. So, but man, when I sit down now and we have that, okay, so let's talk about it. Almost every person says, man, I see why you waited 90 days to have
Mhm.
this conversation, because holy cow, I've been out on the show floor 10 times, and I've been working with the guys in the back, and I traveled down to Miami and, slept in the hotel with, 6 of the crew that traveled in, and, just really got to understand what this is about. And it's always great when they go, I love it. I'm hooked. But it's amazing what you learn about your own company too. And
Yeah.
I think and so by the way, I do think that, he said skill set you can trade for mindset. The test is you've got to, you got to get out there and be in it. And then we can, so how are you
Right.
reacting? You go, this is really, I had no idea that what you guys did, um, it really is project management on a whole nother. I thought it was just going to be a booth, but I mean, we were at a hotel in South Beach, and it was built in the 50s, and we had to unload the tractor trailer to street because the crates wouldn't fit in the kitchen hallway, which was the only way to get to the freight elevator. And by the way, we had to share it with the food guys, and we had to share it with, and it's, no one told us it was going to take till 4 o'clock in the afternoon just to unload our stuff. We started at 8. And, what is it Mark Twain says? When you carry a cat by the tail, you learn a lesson you can learn in no other way. Here's your cat. You're going to get,
Yeah,
you got to get scratched up a
absolutely.
little bit. So,
I think that I think it was Steve Jobs or no, Jeff Bezos that was quoted with uh, the line, "Advertising is the expense you pay for an unremarkable brand." And I think that in a similar vein, that turnover is the price you pay for an unremarkable culture or work environment. And I think so many times, people might be complaining that it's the skill set people that keep on leaving the jobs, and you can't keep them around. You can't find good people anymore, right? But there's good people out there, and there are skilled
there
people out
are.
there, and somebody's hiring them, and somebody's getting them to stay for longer than 10 months. What are they doing that's different than what you're doing? So,
I will, I think I'm like an old school guy, right? So I'm painfully aware that I have to change and evolve as an owner and as a leader. We used to have a training program, and it was 90 days, and it was the same for everybody. It didn't matter what
yeah,
you know, now it's a catered experience.
yeah,
It is, that I have to be willing to bring them in and make an investment. I think the norm in our industry is at least for 6 months, and you're not going to know for 6 months. And by the way, mindset also is, are you a person willing to come in and try new things
absolutely.
and, try these different jobs to learn better, understand what we do? Cause I think that's a big part of it.